Hello guys, welcome back to GMAT Hub. In this video, we'll be talking about the real 99th percentile score. A 760 is a 99th percentile score in GMAT. Okay, you get into the top 1% bracket of all the GMAT takers in the world. So everybody wants to get this score. So there are two major benefits of this score. Obviously, one is your chances of getting into top B schools. So if you're going to go for Harvard, Princeton, Wharton, those kind of schools, you need to have a 750 kind of a score. Anything less than that would be really, really difficult. Okay, so anything less than that, if you are, let's say, getting into Wharton, I've seen people getting 740, getting into Wharton and INSEAD. So they need to have really, really great profiles. Okay, so discussing profile is not the topic of this video. It's about GMAT. So first thing, getting into top B schools, you need to have this kind of score. Second, your chances of scholarships increase a lot. I've seen people getting a 770 score. So I'm sure without a 770 score, if they had like 720, 730, they would have got admission, but a 770 got them scholarship. I've seen people, USC Marshall, Fuqua, Duke, getting full scholarship because they had a 770 kind of a score. I'm not saying it's just because of 770, but 770 played a huge role in getting scholarship. That's for sure. So in today's video, we'll discuss what does it take to get a 750. Okay, so if you're starting your preparations, you need to know what exactly you're getting into before you actually dive into it. So as you all know, quant and verbal section, the combined score of those two sections will give you a score. Okay, the 750, 760 score, that's what we are talking about. It's an outcome of these two scores, these two sections. So a combination of Q51 and 41, that's most likely that we see, that gets you a 760. And if you get 1 point lesser here, you need to have 1 point more and so forth. 49 in quant and 43 or 44 in verbal, that's not very, I would say, often. At least in India, it's not very often because people are generally good in maths, and since Indians are not native English speakers, getting a 44 in verbal is 99th percentile. It's not easy. At least in India, it's not easy. People whose native language is English, it could be relatively easy for them to get a 43 or 44 in verbal. I've seen that. So if you're average or above average in quant, so when I say average or above average in quant, what I really mean is you don't struggle with easy questions, you don't struggle with understanding concepts, then you should be going for 50-51 at least. Okay, so that your threshold of getting a verbal, threshold score that you need in verbal is not that high. The reason being, reason of showing this combination is you must be knowing what you should be targeting in each section, because the kind of preparation required is different for both sections. For example, if you are really good in quant, you can give lesser time to quant and still get a 51 very easy. And if you are average in verbal reasoning, it'll take a lot of efforts to get a 40 plus score in verbal reasoning. So that's the whole purpose of showing this combination. Let's see. To get a quant 51 is the highest score that you can get in any section. So 31 is the total number of questions. You'll get 62 minutes for that. And to get a 51, you can make at the most 1 or 2 mistakes. And so this number of 1 or 2 mistakes is contextual. We all know that GMAT is an adaptive test. So initial few questions would be of easy level, and as you progress, the difficulty level would keep increasing. So this 1 or 2 wrong questions should be at the later end of the test. If you make 1 or 2 mistakes at the initial end, it's very, very difficult to get a 51 then. Okay, so that's how things work here. Same goes for verbal. Total 36 questions, 65 minutes for the whole section. To get a 41, you can make at the most 8 mistakes. Okay, not more than that. And again, those 8 mistakes should be at the later end of the later part of the test, not at the initial, not among the initial questions. That's how it works. So one thing is important here. So when I say first 10-15 questions should be correct, so in 10-15 questions you'll get questions from all 3 parts, which is RC, SC and CR. That means for all three sections, you must be able to do easy to medium difficulty level questions. You need to have some sort of mastery over all three sections to get a 40 plus score in verbal. That's a must. You cannot get there if you're weak at one section, totally weak. I mean, you're not able to do medium difficulty level questions. You cannot reach a 40. Now, if you're just starting, or if you're thinking to start preparing for GMAT, so the kind of timelines, the kind of commitments that will be required from your end, 3 to 4 months with professional help. So both the things are important here. If you're just starting, if never prepared for GMAT, and you have been away from studies for a long time, let's say at least 3-4 years, that's the case with most of the people who take GMAT. So anything less than 3 months is really difficult. I have not seen a person who is working and taken less than 3 months to get a 760 kind of a score. You must be a real genius to get that, trust me. So if if somebody is promising you that you are just starting up with the GMAT preparations and he or she will help you to get a 760 in 2 months or 1.5 months, that really cannot happen, trust me on that. Stay away from such kind of promises. 3 months is what you need. And if you are a fresher as in, let's say you're just graduating and you have a lot of time at your hand, and another factor is that you haven't been away from studies, you're just you're just going through your studies, the later part of your studies of your graduation, then it could be a 2.5 months for you. That's possible, but for a working person, it's really difficult. I mean, take a diagnostic test, go to mba.com, create a login, you'll get 2 free tests, 2 free mock tests. Take one test to get your understanding of what the test is all about, and how long would it take for you to crack a 760 or 750 or your targeted score. The reason professional help, I mean, you can do it on your own. I'm not saying nobody can do it, nobody has ever done it. I'm not saying that thing. People can do it, but it'll take longer, and they need to be in that mode. They need to know what exactly they are studying. They need to have a structured content at least. That's the only way you can do it without professional help, otherwise not. Again, consistency. 2 to 3 hours every day or 4 to 5 hours on an alternate day. So what I used to do was, not always I could do it every day, I remember, but on alternate days I used to take one topic and I used to spend 4-5 hours, even more, till the time I don't squeeze it fully. That's what I used to do. So you can do it. I mean, it could be either way. It's your call. It depends on your schedule, and I mean, it's a little flexible, I would say, but you need to be consistent with that. It cannot be the case that you're out of studies for 15 days. That really doesn't happen. Consistency is the single most biggest factor here. Before you're ready for the D-Day, you need to take a lot of mocks. The idea of taking mocks is not just to practice questions. You can practice sectional tests as well, but while you're sitting in the mock test, it's like a live test situation. You'd be checking your stamina. You'll be building your stamina to focus for almost 3 hours on the test day. Second thing, there'd be a lot of test taking strategies that we would tell you. Those strategies are something like that would increase your score by 20 or 30 points without any other change. So those test taking strategies become really important. You can only master those strategies through actual implementation in the mock tests. 8 to 10 mock tests is a must. Anything below that doesn't really work. So that's all you need to do to get a 750. So this is a broader idea. I'm not getting into minute details. So if you have questions, or you're just starting up your preparations, or you're a retaker, you have taken it already but you couldn't get your target score, do write to us. We'll help you out in any way possible. Thank you.